Oh my God, what a bass.
What's up guys, welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today we're talking about cold water bass fishing. It's a lot of the country. This week we've had some warmer temperatures and the ice is starting to come off a lot of the lakes. And the water is really cold. The bass have basically been freezing their asses off for well over a month now, maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Everything has been frozen solid, locked up tight for quite some time. And the bass are in a full-blown, sucked to the bottom winter pattern. They're really hard to find. And I'm gonna tell you guys what I do in the wintertime to find those bass when you can't see them up floating around. And I'll also try to show you how to catch a big bass. This is a really good time of year to catch your biggest bass of the year or your life, or just catch huge bass in general. And I'm gonna go through my Active Target 2 settings or my scope settings. This stuff will work whether you have Garmin or Active Target. Doesn't really matter, but I'll give you a full bait and setup description in the video and try to catch you guys one of those giant cold water winter bass. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. We're at about, I think, 850 subscribers now. We need about 150 subs to reach the second level of the YouTube Partner Program. We're getting close. Thank you all for subscribing so far and following along. I hope you are learning from these videos. I like doing these videos, and this is my focus this year. I haven't been fishing many tournaments because I've been focusing on YouTube, but all this information applies to tournaments. So please remember to subscribe, guys. It should be a good video. Thanks for watching. There it is, 38.2 degrees. Ice cold water. That's about as cold as it gets. Saw 35, 36 earlier, but doesn't get much colder than that. You get much colder than that, you get ice. So it's cold, it's winter, it's high pressure, bluebird skies, post front. We're still gonna try to catch some. Come on. Come on. Come on. Got him. Got him. Feels like a big one too. Yep, it's a big one. Nice one on the mooch. Nice big cold water, 36 degree weather, 36 degree water spot. Not bad. All right guys, so the frigid cold frozen water minnow setup. It's got 8-pound test, Seaguar InvizX for the leader. I've got 8-pound Berkley X9, and someone asked about this in a previous video. This is the only solid tip rod I have know if you can see that. See how fast that tip is? It's like an extra fast tip. This is a Shimano X-Bride 610 medium solid tip rod. And this rod is made specifically for use with light minnows. And I don't use this rod a lot because I like to boat flip fish. I just do. And it kind of sketches me out because these things are notorious for people breaking them off when they high stick them at the boat. But it's a fantastic, it's probably the best feeling rod that I own. And for whatever reason, I get more bites on this rod when it's frigid cold, like ice cold water. It's about 36, 37 degrees today. We just had a bunch of rains, post front, really tough conditions, but we still managed to catch them. But that's a Vanford 3000 and the 610 medium solid tip minnow rod, X-Bride Shimano. That's it for the setup on the guppy head. We've got a 3/16 ounce guppy head, and that's the same mooch minnow you've seen in a lot of my other videos. This is a fantastic bait in cold water. Looks like we've got a fish right here. I don't care what anybody says, talk about, oh, you don't have enough minnows. This minnow, you can get by with this minnow all winter long. You guys that have followed along on the channel have seen that happen. It works at Smith Mountain Lake. It works here. We're at Claytor Lake today. There we go. Oh my God, what a bass. Oh my God. Whew. Look at that thing. Giant bass. Look at that thing. Oh my gosh. Typically, when the water is super cold, below 40 degrees, doesn't happen often, but it's happening to a lot of the country right now. You're gonna spend a lot of time looking for fish, and on days like this, you're not gonna see them up floating. It's just not gonna happen. It's extremely time consuming, but as you saw with that 5.5 pounder, it pays off. But Basically, what I do in the wintertime when you cannot see these bass floating around, you just basically have to crawl along on points and things of that nature offshore until you find some fish in a specific depth. But if you see right here, there, where'd it go? Right there. There's a little bump on the bottom. Now that might be a rock, but the fish look like that too. There's a fish right there at 20 foot. Let's drop down on it. But basically, they don't move around a whole lot because it's extremely cold. And if the lake was frozen, they just lost the cover that was over their head. But they'll basically hug the bottom, and you just have to go troll around slowly and look for irregularities in the bottom or little bumps on the bottom. And whether it's a fish or a rock, you can cast at those little stick-ups or round places on the bottom. And if it's a bass, they don't always come up, but a lot of the time, if it's a bass or at least one that's willing to feed, like that out there at 40 feet, they'll rise up off the bottom. You might have to get your bait pretty close to them, whether they can see it or not. They're lazy. It's cold, and they're not doing a whole lot right now. But you can position your bait above the bottom there a little bit, and if you drop on something and it does see your bait from a distance, go ahead and flip your bell over so you can slow that bait down. You don't want to drop it right in their face because it'll spook them a lot of the time. But you just want to hover your bait across these little bumps in the bottom and see if something will come up out of the bottom. And a lot of the time, if you do see a fish rise up out of the bottom, there's more there. They school up pretty tight this time of year, and where there's one, there's many in most cases. Not saying you're going to catch more than one, but usually if you get a fish to pull up off the bottom, you've found a school in the wintertime. It's getting into late February, but the water is frigid, and these fish are still hanging out in their winter haunts in a lot of the country. The ice just now started to cut off. There's still ice in the coast here. We still cannot use our public ramp here. I went and tried to bust the ice a little while ago, and the ice in the public ramp is so thick that I couldn't get the boat to break through it. I was going to try to make a path to the ramp, but you can still catch fish, and this is a really good time before the traffic gets on the lake to get out here and catch the biggest fish of the year. That's the biggest. It's a meanmouth, but the biggest smallmouth meanmouth that I've caught so far this year, and it's in frigid cold water, and we're just crawling around. It's very simple. It's exactly, if you've ever fished in the wintertime with 2D, you're basically doing the exact same thing. A lot of these fish will show up better on 2D. I changed my trolling motor out, and I haven't got the 2D transducer. But a lot of the time, this time of year, it's a good idea to run your 2D, because you'll see things on the bottom that you can't see with your scope, because you've got this layer of fuzz on the bottom. And that's a good thing to mention when we're talking about forward-facing sonar units. This is a Lowrance unit. You might have heard Jacob Wheeler or Josh Jones, the scoper guy, or Russell Marine. A lot of these Lowrance guys that talk about bottom separation. The Active Target 2 has better bottom separation than the Garmin, and that's true. See this fish right here? You see these bumps in this fish? There's a lot more fuzz with Garmin when you've got your gain cranked up, and it's easier to see these fish laying on the bottom. So that is Garmin overall. Most people think or say, and I don't disagree, but I think Active Target 2 is just as good. They both have their advantages, but overall there's a general consensus that Garmin is the leader in forward-facing sonar. But when it comes to fishing like this, and the fish are pinned up in the bottom of the lake like they are right now, Lowrance wins. I don't care what anybody says. You can see more on this, and yes, I have used both quite a bit. This time of year, Active Target wins for these super cold bass that are sucked down into the bottom. That's the kind of thing you want to look for right there. Just little irregularities in the bottom, little blips. And sometimes, you know, the fish will hover slightly against the bottom, but a lot of the time they are locked down tight into the bottom, and which is the case today. So you just really have to crawl around and pay close attention to your graph, and then eventually you'll find some. You might fish 20 spots before you find a school, but when you do, you can usually catch a few. And this is the best time of year to catch that big bass like we caught earlier. There's a fish right there. This is definitely the best time of year to catch one of those giants. I just ran over a group of them here. See those fish right there on the bottom that come out when I drop my bait? Let me back up and see if I can get another shot at these. Right there. They're about 10 feet. Let's see if we can get their attention. I think I just spooked them. See them swimming off there. But if you want to catch a big one, it might be boring. You might catch 2 fish all day, but if you do this, you're going to have pretty good odds of catching one of those really big ones. And I do it every year. There comes that fish. Looks like he sees my bait. Nope, not interested. Well, that one sees it. He's coming up now. See how lazy that fish is? He really doesn't want to fool with it, but he's already, there we go, there comes some more. He's already burned the energy to come after it, so he might commit. That one there's not wanting to, he's not wanting to do it. Come on. But see, there's a 4 or 5 fish school that was completely invisible until we got up on them and pulled our bait across them. And that's just how you do it in the wintertime. Not something I like to share, but we've kind of transitioned more to YouTube than tournaments. So this is what I'm focusing on, is YouTube and educating. I'm not the best in the world, but I spend a lot of time doing this, and this is a really good way to catch the biggest fish of the year. See how lazy that fish is coming up after my minnow? Come on, come on, you can do it. Come on and get it. He's not going to do it. He might do it. He's still coming. He's still coming. Come on. You've come all this way. Oh, and he swerved me. Whiffed it. At least he didn't touch it and pull the bait down. But as you can see, the demeanor of these fish, they're extremely lazy. Give them one more shot here while I'm running my mouth and see if I can get one of them to put my bait in their mouth. I'm pretty sure I casted at these fish earlier, which might be why they're not willing to finish the job and go ahead and commit to the bait. I caught one somewhere around here a little while ago poking around. There's another one, boys. Another big one. Oh, it's cold water. Nice one. Mooch. But that is how you do it in the wintertime. I appreciate you guys watching. Please, if you haven't done so already, take a second to subscribe. We're about 150 away from reaching that 1,000 subscriber mark, so we're getting close. And I try to pack a lot of value in all my videos, and this is not something that I wanted to share, but here it is for you guys. If you want to know how to catch those giant winter bass, this is how you do it. You drag your minnow. It's basically like Gussie did in the classic. He calls it moping, but you just float over little blips in the bottom and see what comes out. And as you saw there, a lot of the time it's a school of fish. And if it's a bass, if you see bass on the bottom, usually they'll do something. They might not come up at your bait, but they'll rise up out of curiosity just to see what's going on. But that's it for how you find bass scoping in the wintertime. And I'll give you some settings on the Lowrance here in just a second and let you know what my setup is. Alright guys, so my setup on the Lowrance Active Target 2, I've got a Lowrance HDS 12 here. We've got Active Target 2 in the box there, but as you can see, I've got my full screen exposed here. I'll pull that down. Right now we're on 40 feet. I bounce around a lot because you don't know how deep the fish are going to be. But usually I start at 50 to 100, and then if I get in an area where there's some fish, I'll go ahead and bump that up so I can see the bottom better, see how nice and big and bright all those returns are on the bottom there. But it just, your down setting basically depends on how deep the fish are. So today they're in around 30 foot, so I've been kind of keeping it around 40, somewhere bouncing back between 40 and 50. I've been down as deep as 60 today, or even 70 earlier, just trying to find some fish. But once we did finally find some, we figured out that they're around 30 feet deep in this particular instance. We've got our contrast at A+11 per usual. That's pretty much what I always run my contrast on sunny days. Forward range set to 100. I'll bounce back and forth between 80 and 100, 40, 80, 50, 100, 40, 100. Just depends. If the fish are really tight to the bottom, you might need to cut your range down some so you can increase the size of the picture there. But 100 out, 50 down should pretty much take care of everything you need. Noise rejection on low. And we've got reverse range on auto there. But that's about it. We're running an Ultrex Quest, and we're just using an old Lowrance Elite here for mapping. Turn it off so it doesn't draw power occasionally. But sometimes you need your mapping to find where the fish are. But that's it for the setup on the Lowrance. I'll see if I can catch a couple more fish for you guys, and thanks for watching. Should be a good rest of the video. Please remember to subscribe. Thanks. £5, 8.5 ounce, 5.5 pounder. What a fish. Look at that thing. Giant bass. 5.8 on the Bubba. There it is. 5.5 pounder. Brown winter giant on the mooch minnow. Sending him home. It's a good one. That's why we fish in 37-degree water. Don't get much better than that.